No, no, don't get your headphones. It's just funny. Like I remember my ex girlfriend. She was just like, this is a bad neighborhood. I think someone's gonna break in my car. And I was like, it'll be fine. And then the next day, someone broke into their car.
Oh
So it's like
no.
the same thing was gonna happen, dude. All
That's
right.
that's the thing. Like when you think it's not gonna happen, like I don't know if I told you, I'm freelancing with Josh Singh right now on
Oh,
his company.
too cool.
Um,
I was gonna say
and
too cool, but then I put them together.
Yeah, so their company just opened up an office in Oakland of all places. So he
Uh-huh.
actually flies out from Utah and whatever. So I picked him up and we had lunch and we were in Oakland, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I'm like, yeah, you should put your stuff in my trunk. And he's like, really? It's like lunchtime, it's daytime and broad daylight. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'm like, I've never been robbed here before or anything like that, but like, you should put your stuff in my trunk. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, no,
Scaring him,
I don't
paranoia.
want to say like nothing's gonna happen, and then we come out, and then you lost your iPad and your laptop and shit. Like,
Yeah.
what's in your trunk? And he's like, all right, I guess if you say so, you live around here.
Wait, what the? Jamaro's calling me right at this moment. Hold on.
He's like, yo, Stream, what are you doing?
Wait, I wonder if there's an emergency.
Yeah, he never calls anybody. So
Yeah, here I'm gonna.
it's like,
Can everybody hear me? There's people watching the
Yeah.
Yeah.
stream. Well, I mean, can people hear me on the
Oh wait, are we
stream?
live?
Yeah, I think we are live.
Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, yeah. I can see it. Let me check the volume.
by
Yeah,
the
we can
way,
hear it.
Michael, don't download Fire Emblem Heroes.
Oh, why is that?
That shit's fucking addicting as fuck.
No. I was like expecting a virus or something.
No.
Yeah. Does anybody? Hold on, let me make sure it's not. You
Like,
okay?
It's addicting. Like that game's like addicting.
All right. I
It's
think
like
he's
think
okay.
of like a miniature like Final Fantasy Tactics, but like made for
Mm.
mobile.
Oh, it's
Well-
a mobile game?
It's on your phone. That's the
That's
worst part about
dangerous.
it. It's
That's
on your
dangerous.
fucking phone.
Yeah.
Like I
What's
was
up,
playing it, and I
everybody?
was like,
How's everyone doing this weekend?
yeah.
Yeah, can you turn down the audio on your headset? Because I can't actually hear myself a little bit.
Wait,
Or
on
on your
mine?
speaker. Yeah.
Dude, I'm just gonna get my headphones. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm planning on doing some streams again, so I thought I'd do like 30 minutes or 40 minutes here. I just wanted to stream and see if I can get back in the habit of doing this. Because as many of you may have known, I've had some major surgery. Oh, hey, what's up, Lamb? Oh, you're listening through the Discord? Yeah, that's fine. If you're in the actual stream of the Discord, too, yeah, you're welcome to chat with us, too.
Necros joined us now.
Okay.
What's up, Necros?
Okay, hold on. Hold up.
But anywho, yeah, I just wanted to get back in the swing of things. I wanted to make sure that I can get to answering questions and hanging out with people. And if anybody wants access to our Discord, yeah, we sent the Discord out so people can join in and start signing up. Or not signing up, but just like make your account and just be a part of it.
I think we hit 675 members yesterday.
Oh, sweet. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like headphones. Like your voice is inside me.
I can still hear something in the background. What's that noise? Is that someone's TV?
Then it's probably mine. Okay, I'll close the door. Sorry, Jacqueline's watching the Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh yeah, it's
that
the one with
show?
Drew Barrymore where she's a zombie.
Yeah, like
Oh,
apparently
yeah, I
it's
heard
like
that.
really funny.
Yeah,
Jacqueline's
looks
like
funny.
cracking up right now.
Yeah, it looks funny. Like she's like a
I
zombie,
will-
but she's not like dead, like a monster. Right? She's
I
kind
think
of.
she's like a vampire. She's pretty much a vampire, or something like that. It's the way it works. I don't know. I've only saw it like from walking in and out of the office, but like it's like some random shit's going down. Like the guy on the show seems pretty funny because he's just like, what the fuck is going on? He just knows no clue. And then like they live in between two cops that just talk shit to each other all day long.
That's great. What a great premise.
So like one is like a black guy married to an Asian girl and like a Mexican guy, and every time
Yeah.
they go outside, like they're just talking shit to each other, and the guy's like, "Why do I have to live between two cops?" And then like they both like speed off to work, like one's on a motorcycle, and one's like a Charger, and they're just like burning rubber. And they're like, "Fuck you, man, eat me!" And he's like, "Fuck you, bro!" They just speed off, and they're just like, "Why do we live between two cops? Why can't I live between like two pastry chefs?" like dueling pastry chefs. I don't know. I'm
that's
probably
great.
gonna start watching it.
Good morning, Abbas from Sydney, huh? How's Sydney? I've never been. Have you guys ever been to Sydney?
I would like to.
Yeah, I've never been. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions too if anyone has any questions or things they would like to talk about.
I'll be trying to watch the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
yeah.
going to glitch or not, but it seems to be updating.
You watch it.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning to
I
some of
gotta
y'all.
finish up this freelance anyway. So
Yeah, well, that's cool that you synced up with Josh. How is he doing?
yeah. Actually, he's doing really well. I mean,
Okay, cool.
from what I was talking to him about, he's kind of like he's making a lot of money, but it's so expensive in California. So he's like, I was kind of wasting my money. So he's like, I just lived out here, and then he's up in Utah. I mean,
Yeah.
Mormon country, so he's chilling. And then I guess people were making a game, and they
Uh-huh.
already had it funded or whatever. So then he
Sure.
got in on it, and I guess he's like, like a part owner of it, kind of thing.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, yeah, so he was kind of like, I guess he, worked his way into being like getting stock options or whatever, or getting
Oh,
like
sweet.
partial
What a
ownership
sweet
of
deal.
yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like where you and I would want to be, because he's kind of like, I don't want to work for a big company like for the rest of my life and then not get anything out of it. I want to like do my own thing. So he found
Sure.
his opportunity, and he's like, yeah, like if I could be, part owner or whatever, if I do this and this, then I'm down. So they're working on this cool game, and they needed some environment help. And they just happened to open up a place in Oakland, which is like super convenient because he's like, "Do you live near there?" And I was like 10 minutes away. So
So what's in
Yeah.
Oakland? What is specifically there?
I think it's just cheaper, and it's kind of a tech hub. So it's not
Wait,
like
so
their
they
own studio.
they moved out there, or they just have like a little place that's just outsourced?
So what it is, it's like how they have those kind of like incubator places where it's like a bunch of different companies are all like rent space. It's kind of like that.
Sure.
So there's a bunch of cubicles and a bunch of like places. It's like very colorful, kind of like Google or whatever. And then you can rent out space. So you're in there with a bunch of just random other people that work in the tech industry. So they have like their own little cubicle side, but they're slowly expanding. So that's where they decided to kind of locate. I think it's because like the most of their staff artists, because they only have like 4 or 5,
Uh-huh.
like they all live in NorCal. So I guess they decided to move out. They decided to get a space out there. But it's cool because Josh is an art director, but he lives in Utah. So I guess they allow him to art direct like remotely. So it's kind of cool.
So they're
So it's
they're actually stationed out here?
So yeah, so the company is stationed in Oakland right now, like the physical
Oh.
location.
That little
But-
cubicle that you were talking about, right?
Yeah, the cubicle thing. So yeah, so I went to go check it out, but it's cool because there are all these other companies there, and there's like places where you can have meetings and whatnot. And yeah, so it's like you pay for space, but it's like kind of an incubator. Like everyone just comes and goes and works on their own thing. So think of it kind of like a studio, traditional studio where people kind of rent out their own space to do their paintings and stuff.
Yeah,
Think
I
of it
gotcha.
like that, but it's just the tech side of it.
That's cool.
So yeah. So I mean, that's cool. You get to art direct, from your home, but then you just kind of fly out, every once in a while to kind of make sure, things are going good. So just living the dream, to be able to art direct from your home. So I guess he has more time with his kids, and he's like, yeah. So he's
That's
like
nice.
happy.
Yeah, it's
so
kind
he's
of
like,
where I'm at, right? Like I saw I'm art directing that project, which I'm trying to bring you on, but I think we won't be able to for a little bit because
No,
of
it's
the
cool.
budgets.
no, it's cool. I'm chilling with Josh and doing some fun stuff with
But
him. so
regardless,
it's
yeah, I agree with that idea of just chilling with the fams like I did today. Like it's
yeah,
really
we
nice.
were talking about it. It was great. He was just like, art, art is my job, but it's not my life. He's like, I want to be a good father, a good husband. He's like, this allows me to do that. Got a nice house in Utah, and chilling,
That's cool.
hanging out with kids. And I'm like, dude, that's the life, man. He figured it out. So that's the guy you should probably talk to at some point in time. I mean, they're doing good stuff. Maybe I think they've been doing some character stuff too. Maybe you should hit him up.
All right, sure.
But yeah, the company seems to be in the right place. They definitely have a nice work-life balance. So, so far I've been working for them for like about a week and a half now. So
Cool.
It's really cool. I definitely enjoy it thus far.
Right on, right on.
We do have 2 questions. I'll take them.
Oh, sweet.
All right. First one says, I have a question, Anthony. What role would a junior concept artist have if they get hired by a big company? And also, should they pursue should they pursue to go straight for a big company, or maybe start off going for small indie companies, then progress bigger and bigger?
They're gonna get coffee all the time.
Yeah, I think just to do a junior concept art position, you'll be asked to do all kinds of things. I don't think a junior concept artist is necessarily like someone who only does like crates and stuff like that. I think that it's more about how much they actually pay you. I don't think they pay you as much. And then they also might put you on like some smaller tasks, but you know if you prove your worth, then they'll make you do larger tasks. But it's like mostly a title. You'll be doing just as much concept as the senior and lead concept artists on the team, and even some of the most valued concepts too. But it's because if you're a junior concept artist, you're probably more. You probably just came out of school or something, right? So they just will assume that you're lower experience, but they need the work and they hired you to do some great work. So it's most likely like that. Like if you imagine that a junior concept artist is someone that just comes in and just draws like a small little like tiling, and like that's it. Like they're not gonna like hire a person just for that. You know, they can have their main staff do all that stuff too. They need somebody that can do all kinds of great work. You know.
Yeah, think of it like sports. Like if you when someone gets like a brand new player on their team, you know, NBA, like
Yeah, perfect.
of course you're gonna play basketball, but you may not be required to take the game-winning shot like in the fourth quarter kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
they're not gonna just hire just like some guy out of high school who's kind of good, and like, you know, we just want you to just pass the ball back and forth. You know, don't actually play the game.
don't play the game.
Yeah, just sit back and watch, and then you know, just keep this. Yeah, it's not like that at all. It's just exactly like what Caitlin said. That's
Like the
great analogy.
responsibilities. Like you're not leading the team. They're not going to be like, all right, what do you think we should do right now? You're going to be like, what? I've never been here before. Well, we hired you, so figure it out.
Yeah,
A lot
you're
of
just
times
starting
when,
out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna limit your minutes. They're gonna kind of you know give you some smaller tasks. You know, guard someone, do this and that, and eventually, as you get better and more experience with the team, then you start getting more responsibilities. I think it's probably just, if anything, it's less responsibilities, and you're kind of doing some of the smaller roles. But you work your way up, just like anything. Like they wouldn't hire you to keep you in a small role like that forever. More times than not, they're hoping that you're gonna start taking on bigger things as time goes on.
Yeah, it's.
Because it's an investment, you know.
Yeah, senior, like I said, I think senior represents more of like how much you get paid and your genuine experience, and junior reflects the same thing. But it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that they're gonna pay you whatever you asked. You know, it's not like they're gonna pay you chump change either. Depending on the studio, but they can't speak for all. Some studios might not have the rational or the rations to pay you or the budget to pay you what you might want to
The
get
rations. What is this? World War II?
paid. Yeah, they don't have the rations, homies.
We only
And
have food. We get one food ration a day.
Yeah.
What?
And so it's really simple. I wouldn't worry about too much about it. What you need to understand is that, you know, getting the job at the big studio is hard in general. With like what we just said, you must understand that they're not just going to hire you to just do like cleanup work or anything like that. They're going to hire you to be a genuinely valued concept artist, which is great. You just have junior in your name. That's it. And so if you want to if you're thinking that's how you can get in, like, well, going into junior position, you'll still have to be as good as some of the best people out there, specifically for that genre of game or movie. And should you wait to get a studio job? Like, no, just work. Try to get a job at a place that is going to do the kind of stuff that you like. And if it happens to be big studios, then you're just going to have to wait longer. Unless you're already really good, then you just got to, you know, meet the right people, and hopefully everything works out. Yeah.
Good timing. Good timing is important.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people, right? Like, you can only control the quality of your work and the people you know, right? And so you just don't know, like, Kalen just made a great, like, point, right? He talked to one of our friends, Josh. Josh used to work at Riot. He left Riot. He started his own thing with a couple other guys. Well, they started the thing already, and he just joined along. And then they were looking for more artists. Josh came out, talked with Kalen. It was like an informal interview. It was more just like them hanging out, I'm sure. And then he got the freelance. It's like that's how it works, man. It's just how it works.
Just like AJ is art director for the game that he's working on with our old boss, and AJ wants to hire me. But even though that, like, Age is my best friend. He just said like, "Hey, he probably can't hire you for another couple months."
Yeah, I
because,
don't control the
budgets.
monies.
Yeah, so he doesn't have control of that. So literally, it's a perfect example. Like he can't control that. All I can control is just keeping my skills up and doing good work, so that when the time is ready, he could say, "Hey, are you ready to do this?" And I shouldn't be afraid. I shouldn't be like, "I'm not sure. I'm not sure." I should be like, "All right, what took you so long? Let's do this."
Yep.
So just be ready for that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Dessert.
Cool. Good advice. All right. Another question. He says, oh, hold on. Let me go back down. Question. I am learning ZBrush and was curious about what other programs would you suggest? I was thinking about learning ZBrush in Maya or ZBrush in Modo. It's for concept design, so similar to your field. Thanks, Anthony. You are a huge inspiration.
Oh man, appreciate that. Wait, do you still have a
Is there
speaker on?
echo? That's not me, dude.
Who has a speaker?
That's not me.
Oh, is there someone else listening? And their audio's
It might be
on the Discord?
Something.
Yeah, if you're
I thought Michael was making an echo like on purpose, like inspiration.
yeah,
Oh,
look
just
at that. Yeah,
I was like, what are you doing?
Steve Blank. You guys are welcome to talk up in here, by the way, the people who joined. Just if you have if you listen on speakers, I would highly recommend turn them off or not listen to the speaker or just mute yourself. But you guys are all welcome to chat. We have the Discord also available for people to come hang out and talk. If you guys want to check it out too, we have this Discord, and as you can see here, there's a lot of things. There's general chat where people just talk to each other, resources, hangout links, feedback, work in progress, challenges, which I need to actually put a new one up. And then there's mock projects, which is really going well. And then there's study group, which is awesome too. And there's daily 2D, which I have to do a lot more of, where people just post their daily work, which is always good. Daily 3D, etc. Yeah. So I highly recommend you guys use these channels, chat with one another, hang out with one another.
Yep, it's definitely a good, useful tool. I recommend it for my students as well. They're usually in it, just it's good inspiration when you're kind of tired and you want to you're working from home. Some of you guys, not at studios yet, and you kind of want to just vibe with other people. It's a great way, to do that.
We have Mike saying we had 600. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been getting maybe a couple people messaging me on Discord hey, give me an invite, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And then I guess
I get that all the time.
yeah, I'm like, god damn it. Or what annoys me is I'm like, okay, here's your invite, and then they don't give it right away, and then they're like, hey man, it expired, and I'm like, god damn it. I always forget to turn off the expiration.
Yeah, you should do it 24 hours. That's the one that I usually do. Yeah, because and if it's only because we try to keep this Discord private, but it's open to anybody. There's no requirements. You don't have to submit a portfolio or anything crazy. We just do it so it's just easier to maintain. Because if we just left it open, anybody can jump in at any time. It can be overwhelming. And then in this way, if it becomes large, at least we know that most of the people who join are people who genuinely want to join, and they went out of their way to even ask. That takes a lot to directly ask somebody.
Yeah,
it's easy just to click it and jump in, and then and it's also
Forget about it.
Yeah, and it's easier for us to maintain in a sense that if there's someone that ends up trolling, they join and they just start becoming really a nuisance, it's easier to flag that because we'll be okay, well, it wasn't like that a week ago, so what can we do now? Well, the thing is that hasn't happened at all, which is great. So far, everyone's been pretty amazing, and everyone's super awesome with one another. So. But it's unavoidable. It's going to happen. Someone's going to come in here who's has the wrong idea, and we're not going to kick them out right away. We're just going to consult them. This is a place of love and growth.
And by consult, we mean take them out back.
Yeah. Catch me outside. Yeah.
How about that? Dude, Jacqueline does the best impression of it, and it kind of scares me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whenever we're arguing, she's like, "How about that?" And I'm like, "Please stop that." She just keeps saying it. She's like, "How about that?"
I do feel for her, man. We were talking about it in our game chat. We have this game chat channel that we have on Facebook, and yeah, it's it's funny. It's a meme and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm I feel bad. This little girl.
She's what, 15, 16?
According to the videos, she's 13, right?
I feel bad for Dr. Phil, but he has to entertain that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't feel bad for him. I feel bad for Dr. Phil. because he has to play dumb when she's like, "How about
Yeah,
that?"
I mean-
and he'd sit there and be like, what does that mean?"
I'm gonna be straight up though. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
The hell?
Hoes? And who are these hoes? You're like, dude, we know. Like,
You're
why are you
saying
doing
that the
this?
You
audience-
sound like Hank Hill.
Who's Hank Hill?
From King of the Hill.
What? You know,
Oh, that.
Dang.
Oh, okay, yeah, that guy.
Dang, Mike
It's like-
knew something that you did it. Oh,
The hell?
snacks. Give
How about that?
give Kalen a year.
Yeah. What does that mean? How about that? What does catch me outside mean? I'm like, dude, you know exactly what
Why'd
it
I
means.
just
Dude,
say
why
it?
are you asking?
Yeah.
Like, he peaked. He's like, why am I doing this show? Like, he's gonna be sitting there like, I'm a psychiatrist and I'm talking to a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, is he
That's
one though? I
Joe.
think he's a fake one. I don't think he's a real dude.
Really?
Yeah, he's like Oprah. Oprah's not like a real like psychiatrist.
A real Oprah? Well, no one said Oprah. No one said Oprah was
Yeah,
like a doctor, right?
but she does
Doctor.
that kind of stuff though.
yeah, like they're on the same level. He just happens to have a doctor in front of his name versus her. I think that's
Yeah,
the
so
difference.
I mean, you're a doctor and you're sitting there politicking with like a 13-year-old. I'm pretty sure that's not how I imagine it's going. Then again,
Yeah.
since he's on a TV show,
I
I'm sure
see.
he's making
Yeah,
bank.
he's
But it's
makes,
like,
yeah, I was gonna say, dude's rich.
but I think it's probably like this is like before he used to do like meaningful stuff, but now it's like you can tell they're like they need content, and that's where
Well,
it's at right now.
I don't think that was the case. They just happened to be just exploded. It just exploded.
Yeah.
I don't think they were doing bad. I think they were doing all right. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
girl just happened to just explode their ratings.
Well,
That's all.
the whole reason is because she got caught outside, and that hit World Star. Like she got her ass whooped in the middle of the night, and it was on video.
And at night, like
Yeah,
like someone came
like
into
in
her
the dark.
house.
No, they were
I was
outside.
like, I thought she was like sleeping. And I
Someone
was like,
caught her
oh,
outside.
Someone caught her outside out at night, and like she got her ass whooped, and then all of a sudden that became popular, and that brought back what she said, and then people started making memes because it's the internet, and like that's how things blow up. And now she's going back onto Dr. Phil again, so we'll see what happens.
Same thing we learned is don't get caught outside, man. Like,
Pretty much.
your mom's like, I told you about getting caught outside. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah, but to kind of end this conversation about her, like I do feel bad, man. It says a lot about the parenting going on, and then also just like the kind of communities that are a little like they're struggling, man. Because
Yeah,
as some of you
they're
guys know, man, like I've been like getting deep in politics, and one of the things I've been trying to do is look into like proactively solving a lot of these issues that I feel like our country's going through. And I've done a lot of research, and there's a very clear correlation to like lack of education and low income and crime. Right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's
For
definitely-
instance, like if you look at like the prison, most people already know this. Like it's 50% of it like is like mostly just African Americans, right? And then, but the whole population, though, check it out. The whole population of prisoners, there is like no college. Like there's a very rare, like a very small percentage, like 1% of 1%, right? That have like a college degree, and then the rest like either dropped out of college or not college, dropped out of high school or didn't go to middle school or high school, or they may have graduated but they have, they just got their degree or their diploma through attendance. They didn't really engage. Like,
Yeah.
they had like low GPAs, and so there's like a real correlation. And like seeing that girl kind of just like reaffirms that, right? Like, and you can see her mom's not doing anything to kind of solve this problem.
Yeah, she's trying to make that money.
Because check it out, yeah, like she went to that ranch, right? And like she was totally reformed. Like she was totally like a reasonable, rational person on this like ranch, right? She was like doing her chores. She wasn't talking back to the people, the handlers, right? She was like falling in love with the farm life and like hanging out with this horse and stuff. Like she was doing like she was like totally like reformed, And then she goes back to the same environment, which is with her mom in this community that does not support her. It's like that's what
Yeah.
spawned her behavior in the first place. You can't just like send her back and then assume that she's just going to be fixed and be better than that. She's still a child. She's still like very young, and so
Yeah.
it's kind of bothers me, mostly because I have my own kids, and it's like
I was watching. You ever seen Dogfight on Netflix?
no.
I was watching.
I saw that. I saw the the trailer for, not the trailer, but
Yeah.
the little
So yeah,
image
it's
of
pretty
it.
much like street fighting. It's where Kimbo Slice came up,
You know what? I think
I
I did
guess
see that.
yeah, and so yeah, I was watching it, and at first it's kind of cool because wow, it's like real street fights because
Uh huh.
people they can't make money, so that they're living in a bad living in like the most impoverished
Sure.
area in Florida, and these people are all like convicts who've all done time,
Uh
and they're
huh.
interviewing them, and they're just like, yeah, like once you go to jail, like you can't get a job. He's like, it's pretty much impossible. So he's like,
Yes.
so we fight. We fight for money, and hopefully it will go viral. Hopefully I can fight for some more money or get a big contract or something like that. And there's this one part where like they're fighting in slow motion. It has like the piano, and like you see them fighting, people are cheering, but then you realize like how sad this is. It's like these people literally like are in a situation where like they have to fight like for their lives. So like
Yeah.
the guy's losing, right, losing badly. Like his face is fucked up or whatever, but he can't stop because he's like, if I stop, then I don't get the money. Like I don't
Uh
get
huh.
ready to go, to the point where like the guy had to stop it because he was so fucked up, and he was like crying and stuff, and he's just like, dude, like I needed the money, I needed whatever, and he's like, this is all I know how to do. I can't, there's no way out. So at first I kind of looking at it, I'm like, man, it's really really sad to be in a situation where
Hmm.
you literally have to fight your way out in order to get out to be able to do something like
Sure.
positive with your life. You have to go and like do these street fights and whatnot, and like it's like crazy because there's no gloves or whatever, so just bare knuckle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's tough,
it's
man.
like it's crazy. I was like, dude, this sucks, dude. This guy's like
Yeah.
trying everything he can to provide for his kid, and he's fallen short because he, went to jail over something like over some petty stuff, and now
Oh,
can't get a job.
it's a vicious cycle, right? Like this
Yeah.
whole like I've had like really strong conversations with like good friends of mine about like the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and I mentioned to them this idea that a lot of people just don't have these types of choices, or they don't know that they do, right? And they were like, well, they do, like they have choices. Everybody has a choice. They can get out. And I was like, it's not that simple, man. Like if it was that simple, then we would like, why don't we just tell them that, and why don't they just get going?
Oh my
It's,
god.
yeah, we got it, bros. No, it's just a vicious cycle, and it's like it's not like that cops are entirely racist or bigot. Like, are they racist, bigot cops? Absolutely, but it's just a vicious cycle because these cops are living in these communities where these people are in like committing crimes, but at the same time they have to commit crimes because they don't have the right tools in their community to get beyond that, right? And then the cops only compound that, right? Like then like push this persona onto them, and now they believe that they're this, and so it's like this is like vicious, like detrimental cycle, and it really bothers me, right? And because I used to come from a small town that like it still lives through all this kind of bullcrap, right? Like it's definitely still a problem in the community that I grew up in. But the difference is that I was able to get out of it, not because I was better than anybody else or I had more opportunity. I just saw the world. I saw a lot. Like I lived in Korea for a few years when I was in high school, and I moved around a lot. So I've always had the opportunity of knowing that there was more outside of what I had in Barstow,
Uh-huh.
and I knew that it was attainable. You know what I mean? And when I had an opportunity to get out, I got out, right? But I could have easily just stayed there, just like many of my friends and peers. It just happens that everything lined up perfectly for me. And I'm just trying to find ways to solve this type of issues. But it's like, yeah, when I see that video of that girl, I'm just like, it sucks. But, at the same time, it's not her fault. Like, it's her parents' job to kind of try to get her out of this cycle. There's like people whose parents work all like 4 or 5 jobs, and like they're trying to do everything they possibly can to make sure that their kid can not worry about stuff like that. Like Jamaro's a great example. Like his story is really perfect to this analogy, or not this analogy, but this idea, because he had that. Like he told me like his mom was working like really hard. Like he didn't know that he was poor, and
Yeah.
that's really powerful. Because if a kid realizes that they're poor and like life sucks and they have to go to the streets to do stuff, that's when it starts to go downhill. He didn't have that, and he was able to like see that there's an alternative because he didn't focus on starving all the time, right? And living like through like real hardships, and so yeah, it sucks, man. That's why like I'm like getting real political because like a lot of people are having like the wrong point of view about all the stuff that's going on, and I was indifferent before because I was just like whatever, like government's government. What can you do? But after like the last few weeks, man. It feels like years have gone by, man. I'm like exhausted already. And it showed me that I don't know as much as I thought I did, and so I needed to look into it more. And I started digging deep, and it's pretty dark rabbit hole, man. There's like a lot of like just really terrible stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely mentally draining.
It is.
And
It's keeping me up at night sometimes.
But what I've told people is I've said, like, if you feel a certain way about someone or about something in that matter, like, I would just encourage you to go and talk to those people. Like, go and like find someone and like hear it from their perspective. Because chances are, like, I notice like sometimes I'll post some things and I'll get like a comment or two from that doesn't agree. And they're like, well, that's stupid or whatever, this and that. And I know who the person is, and I'm like, the reason why you think that is because, one, you don't have any friends of this kind of nature, or you've never been in that situation. Like, all you know is Southern California, like,
Sure.
Orange County. Of course you're going to have that opinion. And I used to be the same way too. And again, it wasn't until me living abroad in Europe and traveling a lot. And
It makes a big deal when you
yeah,
travel.
it gives you like a huge perspective. Like, I used to have reservations about Muslim things and things of that nature, because I didn't know any better. But it wasn't until I went to Morocco, of all places, and sat and broke bread with people and like talked about ideologies and stuff like that,
Yeah, sure.
that you realize there's so much more in common with each other that you think, to the point where I was like, hey, like, what do you guys think about Americans? And they're like, oh, we think that it's, you guys do this and this and this and this. They're like, is that true? Is that how it happens? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, what do you guys think about people like that speak Arabic or whatever? And I'm like, well, most people think this and this and this, that, you make your women do this. And they're like, no, that's not true. It's not what, Islam promotes. It's not what the Quran talks about. And I'm like, well, isn't that interesting? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, we always thought that this is how people acted, but it wasn't. And seeing, again, just speaking to more people that I've met are like the nicest fucking people in the world. They're always very helpful. Like, and so it's like, so when people kind of like have that kind of rhetoric, I'm like, all right, how many Muslim friends do you have? Like, for real? Like, that you actually like actively hang out with? I'm like, go talk to some of them, and you'll realize that it's not exactly what you think it is. And so I always tell people, like, if you have something, if you don't like gay people or whatever you don't like, just go and be a part of the community where you're the minority, and just see what that's like and talk to those people. I guarantee you'll come out with a different a different kind of mindset. Like Edgar, I think, is a great example of that. Like, hanging around Edgar, for a long time, having lived with that guy for many years. He's gay. Like, a lot of people say things about gay people, and I'm like, it's not true, dude. Like, I've lived with one's my best friend. Like, that that's just not true when you have hung out with them and met his friends and stuff like that. Like, I think it's just more very narrow-minded. I would just say, like, just go out and meet people. Like, you'll be surprised. Like, go travel. If you go travel where, like, you're not the minority anymore, or you're not the majority, and you get to go see how their cultures live, I guarantee you'll come out with a different kind of mindset. And I think that's what really helped me grow as an artist, actually, too, was meeting people of different cultures. That's why I really like these things like IFCC. I've never been before, but I like stuff like that, where it's like you see clearly different people from different cultures like coming together and just kind of sharing ideas. That's awesome. Gotta support that.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah, I think, I actually had I've been talking to an artist. He's from Iraq, and I want him to do a workshop. He's a really good artist, and I wanted him to do if he's listening right now, I want him to do like a live stream with me or something. Just so people can see, because I have a lot of people who follow me specifically because of art. And
you did that. You said post artists, like all my Middle Eastern people post art.
There were several people from Iraq and Iran.
And I was like, I looked at that and I was like, damn, there's a lot of badass people. Like,
there's some of the best from there, man.
Yeah.
So like, if they're up to no good the whole time, how are these people getting away with just making great artwork? In between our beheadings, I like to do a little bit of ZBrush.
A little bit of painting.
Yeah, like right before I like to build a homemade bomber, I like to do a little bit of Photoshop here and there.
They hired me for Call of Duty because I'm so good at that kind of painting.
You have to understand that
my reference is the best.
Yeah.
But what if
I don't have to play Call of Duty. Call of Duty's real life, bro. Yeah, no, it's like clearly it's naive to think that's what's going on every second of the day. And for some of these people, like specifically Syrians, right? Like they're going through some real shit, man, that nobody knows about, man, and it's pretty bad. And the whole point is like, you know, I want to try to get across to people is that like I understand people's concerns, especially for like national security. I get it, you know, but this whole ban was an overreaction, and the guy who's in charge of the ship right now is clearly unqualified. Now, a lot of people are conservative, and they're just like, well, he's the only one, he's the better pick, and I'm like, I get that, but was he? And why did we have to pick between him and someone else that you totally disagreed with strongly? Perhaps
Our
there's
system.
perhaps we need to look deeper, right? We got to look inwards and start fixing a little bit of these things, so we stop punishing others, especially people that we try to build great relationships, and what makes our country actually great, which is our ability to bring people from all walks of life. This is why we accelerated ahead of everybody else. It wasn't because we were, segregating. It was because we were inclusive. We were bringing people in, and the more we do that, the better things are. And it's just like this whole thing, this was a mistake, right? And man, I'm just getting real bothered by this, and it got to the point where I realized that I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't researching enough on my own. I wasn't really looking into information on my own. In fact, I found like these online tutorials on how to do like immigration law. So I want to like really look into the law myself.
It's funny because we're going to Barcelona, like, for that workshop, and Jacqueline was like, are you going to get stopped? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, you're kind of dark and you got a beard going on. Like,
oh, dude, you'll totally get stopped. That's no question, man.
Yeah. I was like, well, I have a U.S. passport. I was born in California.
Dude, I got stopped at the Turkish airport, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And I had like a little rugged beard, and they're just like, what's in that green bag? And it was like, just underwear.
I'm not gonna.
It's
I'm
actually
not gonna get rid of my beard.
Yeah, I was like, well, I guess I'll shave it, I guess. But luckily, my brother is pretty high up there now, Lieutenant Colonel. So I was like, I'll just throw his name around. But actually, what I registered for is I registered for the global travel thing. I'm registering for it right now. So it just means you go through TSA pre-check, so it's faster. And then when you come in the United States, separate line you go through.
Yeah, that's right. I see the other line.
The expedited. So like literally, you have to give them all the information, give them fingerprint. Sure. And then to go for an interview, and then they pretty much, I'm sure they're probably like, are you a terrorist? And you're like, no. And they're like, all right, you're good.
Yeah.
And they're like, where do you live? And so I'm going to do that and see how that goes. But it's actually funny because I guess one of Jacqueline's coworkers came back actually from overseas during this whole thing going on. And so I guess people were asking her, like, what's it like? And he's like, honestly, it's kind of fucked up. And I was like, what do you mean? So this guy's Asian, right? And so he's like, literally, and so I've come back through customs plenty of times now. I've traveled a lot in my time living abroad and doing more stuff with Anthony. Usually there's just two lines, one for international and then one for everybody else. So if you're American, you're in this line. If you're international, you're in this line. But he says that when he came back through LAX, he said that the line was split up for the American side, and so it's literally like one line for all the dark people and one line for white people. And they said that they put him in the line with the dark people. He's like, dude, I'm not dark, I'm Asian. And so he said that like everyone that was in the darker line, the dark people line, was getting checked way more and whatever. And someone asked him like, what does that feel like? He's like, honestly, it's not a good feeling because you feel like there's a target on your back and you feel like
you
did
cough
something wrong. Like you did something wrong, but you didn't do anything wrong. And so then you start to kind of worry, like, are they going to mistake me for someone or whatever? And he's like, it's like you feel like you're a second class citizen, like you don't feel like you're worth anything because you're being put in this line, and you can totally see that there's like a class divide of like you could possibly be a bad person, and these people can't be a bad person. It's no longer subtle. And so he's like, it's kind of a weird experience. Well, I didn't like it very much. And I was like,
there's a silver lining that they put him in the dark people's line. So it shows that our discrimination is pretty equal. So at least our racism, or at least our racism is pretty much.
He's like, I'm Korean.
They're like, yeah, we don't like
line, darky.
We don't like any. I'm not racist. I hate all races equally. Oh, okay, great.
Again, no. Well, that's how it was. That's how it was in exactly. When I used to get my hair cut in the south side of Spain, that's where a lot of like the darker Spanish people live, Dominican stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they would always check IDs when I would come out of the metro.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd be next to a white person, and then they would just check my ID. They'd be like, "Let me see your ID," and I'm like, "What?"
Contrast.
What
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, "Why check that guy's ID?" And the guy would literally say, "Well, because he's white." And I'm like, "All right,
What?
let's see."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. At least he was honest. Yeah.
I got mad for a second, but I was like, at least he's honest about it. Like, at least he's not trying to hide it. He's like, "You're dark, so let me see your ID."
Yeah. I live in Irvine, which is a super nice community, and I get pulled over often. Well, I haven't got pulled over lately because I don't drive anymore because I got pretty much discouraged about doing it. And
Yeah.
so like and it's just because I'm darker. But you know, I'm not afraid of getting shot though. That's the thing, because like we live in like a high income community, so that kind of stuff you just don't worry about, right? The cop's not going to shoot me. Yeah. In fact, like as soon as they say, "Sir, pull down your window," whatever, and then I start talking, they're, "Oh, okay, sounds white."
Yeah, that's kind of how it
Sounds
how it
white.
goes.
Let him through. You know, it's like, oh, and so I just kind of didn't pay attention to this.
Me.
Yeah, catch me outside. You know, as soon as
How about that?
yeah,
Someone get
that would have not worked out well for me. Yeah, but it's kind of sad. And before I just really didn't pay attention to it. But clearly after the last few weeks, it became more valued for me to kind of be a little more alert to this stuff. But you know, anyway. Not to get too political, we should probably just move back. I want to answer some questions.
That was
Yeah,
super political.
We
That was
went way off of the question.
Not to
So I'm
get
gonna go
too
back
much
to it.
more political.
too much more political.
I don't think we
As
can.
political as you get. Everyone probably left. You're like, "Hello, is anyone still here?"
No, this is the most people I've ever seen on our Discord in one server. It's pretty cool.
Guys.
Well, that's good.
Oh.
What's
What's up, John?
Oh no.
What is that guy? He sounds like a dark person.
He's
Get him out.
Latino. Are you Latino?
Get him
What's your
out.
skin color? What's your HSB setting on your skin? What color is it?
HSB.
What's your
What's your
HSB?
bro?
What's your
Is
HSB?
it like mine is probably
Hey,
like
what's your hex color? Your
Yeah,
hex
mine's
code.
like 21 maybe. Let's see. I'm actually trying to figure it out right now. I'm trying to get my
All right,
skin
let's
color, my
see
skin
what I
tone.
got going. Let's see what my HSB is.
We should do that now. What's your HSB, bro?
What's your HSB?
Mine's 21.
Yeah, I'm putting
41.
my hand next to my screen so I can kind of match
Yeah.
it. Yeah, there you go. So I'm 28, 47, 60. That's my HSB.
28, 47, 60. Okay, I'm
That's
like 21,
So we
57, 32.
we only
Yeah,
let
dude.
people with a 42. Sorry, Ken. We only let a 42, 22, and 100%.
God damn it.
100% pure. You're not pure. Sorry.
You should do that. Make a shirt and just have like your HSB. That's my. Yeah, you should write that. Only people that have a HSB setting of this number and higher can be in.
So we keep
can
it
be
art
in this
related at
Discord.
least at some level.
Keep it art related.
Yeah.
At least they're learning about color values. They're learning about color harmony. This is hilarious.
Anyway.
Yeah, dude. What's
All
up,
right,
John?
let's go back to this question real quick before we gloss over it. The guy said, I'm going to reread it. I assume you forgot. It says, I am learning ZBrush and was curious about what other program would you suggest. I was thinking about learning ZBrush and Maya or ZBrush and Modo. It's for concept design, so similar to your field. Thanks, Anthony. You are a huge inspiration.
Yeah, you can use whatever, man. Like it just whatever you feel more comfortable with, or what you think is going to be cooler. I'm indifferent. You know, there's no
All of
right
them do
answer
the
there.
same thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no right answer.
Like
So
80
you just
uses
do one.
Silo for whatever reason. Like I use Maya.
Because
It
Solo's
just
the
works.
best.
I'm
Right,
using
but-
Blender because that's the best.
Yeah, so some people use Blender.
Yep.
Again, it's like everyone does like some pretty awesome shit in their own perspective, like 3D program. Like I touched it on Silo just because it's kind of funny. But
Yeah.
like if that's what AJ uses to get something that's like a good result, then that's what he uses. You know what I mean? So it's like it's all personal preference. So just try them all out. Like again, it really depends on how you think. Some programs, some people hate ZBrush. Some people love 3D Code. Some people hate 3D Code and love ZBrush. It's like
Nobody,
And they're-
nobody
you can
hates
find-
3D cut. Everyone loves 3D cut.
everyone
Yeah, you're
loves
wrong,
3D Code.
Kaylin.
All I'm saying is that whatever program that you're interested, you can probably find a badass artist that does some badass shit in it.
Yeah.
Whatever program you're picking.
Yeah,
So
It's just a matter of
it's
just
just
doing.
preference. Yeah.
It's just a matter of doing something. That's all.
like another example is there's Moy 3D or whatever. It's Moments of Inspiration. You go to that website, it's got like that same problem that 3D Code had before. I think you guys touched it, right? Try to help that website. When you go to
Yeah.
Moy 3D, it looks like you're getting ripped off, but like you
Have
see
you tried it?
badass stuff made in it. I tried it a little bit, but I was like, I personally didn't like it, but I've seen some really cool stuff. So it's
Yeah,
another
I got
example.
an email about it, and I want to try it. I just haven't got around.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's just just pick something. You know, we're living in a time where there's going to be two types of people. There's going to be two types of people. There's going to be the people who focus right on certain tools and certain skills and become overwhelmingly successful. And then there's going to be the people who can't focus because there's so much options, right? You're living in a time where that could be your problem for most of you, because there's not a lot of people that have access to this type of stuff. But anybody who's watching this stream on Facebook Live right now, you have access to these types of things. Okay, I'm pretty sure. It might be expensive, but trust me, there's alternatives that are not so expensive, right? Like Blender, for instance, is absolutely free. And so,
and absolutely badass.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's a great tool, totally. And so, my point is that you have to just decide less about what tools you want to use, but the tools you're focusing on. That's going to be the problem that people face. Like I said, and there's like this next wave of like jobs that are going to be dictated by people who are a little bit more focused.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that reminds me. When I was at the mixer with John, and I was talking to, I think it's Dimitri. He was talking about how he uses like Modo and Keyshot in his workflow. And when he was getting a job, he needed to use those softwares on the job, and like I think Modo was like what 3,000 or something. So there was actually a problem with him being able to get access to the software he used.
So that actually is a good point that you brought
Yeah.
up. So a good recommendation. It definitely does not matter what you're doing, like what program you want to pick for yourself. But when you start to get in a studio setting, I would recommend at least knowing one very kind of common software for that reason. Because if you have like a very kind of unique software that's really expensive, chances are the studio's not going to have it. So then they're going to have to buy it for you. And then at that point, you have to kind of tell them, kind of dictate to them. They're going to ask you, well, why should we buy this program? It's cost like $3,000.
Yeah.
It's like, so I can do this one thing. So for me personally, I like to use Maya just because like everyone uses Maya. It's a very standard program. So it's very, very easy that someone in the studio will have it. And like, it's very easy for me to work. So for example, working with Josh in this company, like I did a 3D model and I was like, hey, do you use Maya? And he's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, cool. Well, I have this Maya file. I can give it to you. You know what I mean? As opposed to using kind of an obscure program. So, freelancing, use whatever you want. But if you are going to be in a studio setting, try to at least know what kind of programs they're using. So that way you're able to kind of, blend into the pipeline a lot easier. So it's kind of like, oh, I use Silo. And they're going to look at you and be like, what the fuck is that?
The Silo is like $40.
Shit, man.
Yeah, but it is $40. They're like, you're like, I'll give you $40.
I'll buy it myself, yeah.
So actually, there you go. So actually, pick a cheap program. If you're going to pick a crazy program, pick a cheap one. So that way, like
Another reason why I'm learning Blender right now.
yeah, if you have Blender, then you're good. You're like, dude, it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
I don't know,
Like,
man.
just let me use Blender.
Install this on our computer, dude. It's free. What are you talking
Yeah.
It's
about?
like, I don't want any viruses on our company.
Yeah, I don't want any
computer. It's
viruses.
like, what?
Like what? It's free. But I don't trust it. Use Maya. So
So I quit.
yeah, so I quit. I just stopped it. So yeah, there are plenty of programs out there. So just go with one.
Okay, another question. Someone said, "Hey Anthony, thanks for your stream. Great to watch. I remember a year ago you had on a course Painting with Confidence, and you planning on putting up more basic tutorials on your Robot Pencil website or even a mentorship. It seems like a perfect course for beginners, but of course also intermediate to advanced painters."
Well, my mentorship now is for all levels. In fact, I probably in the next week, I'm starting a new class in February, and then I have one opening in March. And I think after March, I'm just going to make a mentorship. I'm just not going to even call it character design. And I'm going to probably just do that, like create different varied levels of tutorials and videos that people can watch during the course. And it could be intermediate to high level to low level. Because I find that during my classes, that's really what I do. I really do more of the mentoring than I do of anything else. Like I definitely teach painting and give you insight on how to become better. But I really focus more on the personal aspect of the class. Like I try to get each individual to like wake up and find their own inner ambitions and their own drive. Mike took one of the classes, so he can talk about what his experience. But like there were students in the class that were at a low level, but I didn't treat them like, well, you shouldn't have been here. No, I just like made them go at their own pace. I'd say, this homework, do this homework instead. Don't do this because it's going to help you grow. And interesting enough, some of those students would do that, and then they would actually catch up to some of the more intermediate students.
Yep.
And so it's not about it's not really about just like, okay, let's paint by numbers type of thing for me. It's really just about like, hey, how can I help you grow? That's really what I think my class accelerates at, and this is why people keep taking it. It's mostly because of that, and I take a lot of pride in that. I really we just did a thing where I post on Facebook like asking everybody where they're at with their careers and stuff, because we've been doing this for almost 2.5 years now, and
Really,
a lot
2
of
years?
a little over the 2 years, right? And so, and a lot of them are already getting jobs and like working really well and super successful now. And I predicted that it would be like 3 years and there would be a lot of those people. I said, give people about 3 years, they'll start accelerating. And sure enough, we're rolling around to 3 years, and it's turning out to be true.
Yeah.
And that's true for every time I get new students. I always say, like a lot of you guys can get there within 2 to 3 years. Just keep at it. And so, will I make like more introductory level tutorials? Well, I already think I have some. And will I like make a class about it? I don't think I'll just make one single class or like an individual class that's like for beginners. I'll just make a class that will bring in all levels, and I'll have different homework assignments for all levels. So everybody would be challenged based off of their skill, because that's my main gripe with the educational idea, like the system right now, is that they try to have an education that fits all. Like one that fits all is like, that doesn't work. Everyone starts at a different level, and everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, and you got to treat them as so. Like I remember with Mike, right? We were focused like one class. My whole critique was about your posture, right?
Yeah, I had real bad hand pain.
Yeah, and
like really helped with that.
Yeah, and I was like, because if you can't paint, like if you keep running into this problem, then you can't paint. So let's fix that. Let's eliminate the hurdles that are in your way, and we really focused on that. And I gave him a homework assignment that would challenge him in that way, versus just like, well, figure it out, bro. Still give me the 70 thumbnails. It's like, what? My hand hurts. I'm very sympathetic to people's, problems.
Personal problems.
Yeah, and I actually even tell like people like, you're allowed to have excuses, but we just got to keep working on getting rid of them. That's all. Because if you keep
find a solution.
Yeah, because if you keep having the same excuses and you do nothing about it, then it proves that you're not really trying to challenge that, And so I usually try to have people focus on that so that they can grow.
Yeah, giving blanket assignments is kind of like, sometimes in my opinion, not the best thing. Even for my mentorship, I always make people make everyone give me their portfolio and have them write to me in a couple of paragraphs like what they're hoping to get out of the class, and you'll see that it varies very, very differently. And just looking at that, you're like, yeah, I definitely can't get the same assignment, because people are both in different walks of life or different points of their life and their career. So you look at someone's work and you're like, yeah, you got to work online, you got to learn some 3D. Or yeah, you got to work on your painting skills, and then kind of by doing that, you're just much more effective at kind of fixing the problem, as opposed to kind of just saying, all right, everyone draw 3 environments with color. It's like sometimes people just aren't ready for that yet. I think that's why the mentorship excels so much faster. People get so good. Like I think in the past, I've already showed you. Like people like Dale was doing some really good stuff. Like
your
posted,
students
I think, on Level Up.
Super accelerated, man. It's because we're just laser focused on their problems versus just like versus just like giving them blanket assignments, like you said. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mustafa got a job. Shout out to Mustafa. He got like his first like gig or whatever.
Mustafa.
Yeah, he's a cool
that?
name, right?
Yeah, that's a real cool name. That's like Mufasa, right?
Mufasa.
It's almost Mufasa.
Yeah. He messaged me the other day, and he was like, "Dude, I got a job. Like, thanks for all the work did in the class." And then it's like, I've been with you for like 4 months. Like, I was like, "Dude, that's awesome." So, I mean, it's good. It's good things. It's good times. I think education is definitely evolving, so it's great.
So yeah, I mean, I already have a mentorship now. You can join it as of now if you like, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. It really doesn't.
Yeah, just come in with the open mind and just kind of a readiness to work, and chances are you'll definitely see some improvements. So
All right. So we got another one. They said, "Hey man, I have a question. Any advice for dealing with feedback from management who aren't artistic but who have very specific ideas about what they want, but who aren't very good at communicating it? Ever had to strike a balance between how much you stand up for what you know makes more visual sense and what the guy who pays you or who pays the bills want?"
You just do what the guy who pays you the bills or pays the bills. If they pay you, you do what they tell you. And if it's a problem, you just tell them. Like I'm having a hard time understanding your feedback. Maybe you can give me photo reference, like visual reference. Visual reference from people who can't explain visual critiques or who can't do visual critiques is very powerful. Because a lot of people will say a lot of stuff like, "Yeah, I got to make it like this and that," and use a lot of adjectives that I understand are really misleading or hard to interpret. Like, make it cooler. That's like a very hard thing to do. It's very abstract. You just got to communicate that. Like, look, it's very abstract. Like, what will really help me is if you can like write it down, like in a paragraph or two, or like a few sentences, and then show me some images of what you're thinking about, and that way you're taking a little bit less off of their shoulders, and also you're kind of making it easier for yourself. But I mean, even if they do all that and they still kind of like have a hard time, if they have a hard time communicating it, you just got to be sympathetic to the idea that they might not really know what they want, and you just got to be patient. If they keep paying you, then you just keep working. And if you don't like the work, then find another job. You just can't sit there and keep taking like hits on something because it's their money, right? They can do something even if you just disagree with them. In fact, there's been occasions where I strongly disagreed visually with certain clients, and then at the end of the day, it actually turned out better. I was like, this is actually better, and I just was kind of deluded my own in my own opinion of what I thought it could be, right? And there's only been really in my whole career one time where I felt like my art director or my director or whatever was not on the right track, and there's only one movie project that I worked on, and I'll just keep it nameless. But just catch me outside. I'll tell you about it.
I'll make it nameless, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it. But my point is, and it's not even like that they're bad people. It's just like I just disagreed with them strongly, and I just felt like it wasn't getting any better. The more we were working on it, I was like, yeah, this is clearly not going to get better. And that was only one time. And that movie did come out, and it totally flopped, as I suspected. But like I said, it's important that you just do what you're asked to because it's a job, it's a service that you're doing. I get it. It's very personal. You're through your own artwork, and you feel something. You feel attachments to something that you think you're doing a good job on. My advice, other than what I just said, is just then draw things that you truly like, and if they don't like it, you just keep drawing things that you like, but in the direction that they're trying to throw you in. Always try to find what you like about it. Even if it's something like they want me to put lasers on top of this guy's head, okay, I'll figure it out. I'll try to find a really cool way to make that work instead of being like, lasers on top of the head. Are you kidding me? I mean, I remember when I worked at Blizzard, there was people that were complaining about Winston, right? Because they were like, oh, why are they putting a gorilla in this game? Was that so stupid?
Oh, that happened?
Yeah. And
Winston is so loved.
Yeah, and he's one of the most beloved characters in that. Yeah, it's like you might think you know what's up, is what I'm trying to say. You might also be naive. You have to consider that. So always just be, just be like, give me reference, and try to be happy with what you are doing. And if you're not, try to work somewhere else. You're not stuck there, right? And if you think you are, then I assure you, you're not. Have an exit strategy.
And also remember too that as an art director, chances are they have a much bigger view of the entire scope of the project than you may have. For sometimes as artists, I forget this sometimes too. Like I'm working on something and I'm like, that's a dumb idea, but I don't know the rest of the game. I don't know the rest of the project, and so there may be a certain reason why a director is telling you to do something, because he can see, like, that's what the director's job is. It's like the coach. He can see the entire game, the entire strategy of what they're trying to do. And if you're just a player, right, like a basketball team, you're like, well, why can't I do this and this and that? And it's like, well, I think I should do this. But as the coach, you're kind of like, no, because I see what's happening. This is the strategy we need to go with in order to win. So sometimes you got to trust them a little bit too, to understand that, like, you may not have all the information, like, in front of you to make a decision like that. And that's their job too, is to inform you of that. So
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little bit of trust as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Mad Max, right? The actors had no idea. Right? They were like, during the whole movie, they were like, what is this garbage? They really thought it was going to be like just a total flop. And then the movie came out, and it was this amazing hit. It's exactly right. Like, they see the bigger picture sometimes. They might not, you might be right. They might not know what they're doing. But like I said, if they're paying you, then, you should respect that that's what they're doing. It's like, how would you feel if you hired like a bunch of artists and every time you gave them feedback, they just would be really resilient to it, and you're like paying them thousands of dollars, and every time you're like, hey, like
Mother.
can you make that blue? They're like, blue? Are you serious? I mean, blue is kind of like old, man. Like, what? No, make it blue. Like, I want it blue.
Exactly.
And it's not like to say that you're not allowed to listen to opinion either. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you think blue's going to be blue and you want it to be blue. And if the artist is like super resilient to that, it's going to be hard to work with them. Like, you got to give some to take some, right? And so
gotta be trust. It's like, look at Will Smith in The Matrix, right? They wanted Will Smith to be Neo. Will Smith was like, duh. It's like, what? An alternate universe?
Yeah,
that's dumb. It's like, no, trust me.
Same thing with Star Wars. Same thing with Star Wars. They thought it was really silly, right? Too. Yeah.
Like, I was there. I'll admit it. I was there. Like, when we were in school, I was there when ZBrush came out. We were there. You and me, AJ. Like, we were there. ZBrush came out. The first ZBrush thing came out. I remember Jason Hill and Daniel McGowan were like, dude, let's go to the lab. Check out this new program, man. It's called ZBrush. I remember I looked at it and I was like, this is fucking stupid, dude. he's like, nah, man, it's the future. Like, this is amazing. I can sculpt. Like, I don't have to do like crazy bump. And then like the interface looked terrible, and I was just like, dude, no one's gonna use this program. I'm gonna go like play Street Fighter. And then lo and behold, Daniel McGowan was the only person to get a job because he embraced he's the only person using the program. And then I think, it was in Exile. They saw him. They're like, oh, you know ZBrush? He's like, yeah, I do. Like, I taught myself. Like, this crazy program. I love it. They're like, dude, like, you want a job? And they literally hired him because of his ZBrush creature sculpts. Sure. But I was there when ZBrush first came out, and I was dumb. I was like, this is the fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen. The only thing I was right about was Silo, AJ. Just kidding. Oh, someone from Silo is gonna come and whip my ass one day.
Yeah.
Hey, wait. 2017 is the year of Silo. They're gonna update it.
How about that?
It's gonna come back.
Kidding.
Yeah. So you never know, man. You never know.
Anyway.
You never know what's gonna be tight.
Do you guys want to open up the questions a little bit for some of the people hanging out on this Discord? I'm sure somebody here has a question.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody here, if you want to, I know.
Actually, make sure check their HSB. Check their HSB though.
Yeah, what's your HSB?
HSB.
We're only looking at 48s, 48 hue, 50 saturation, and
they got to send a screenshot
100%
next to the color picker.
Yeah, let's see you hold your hand holding the Wacom pen.
Yeah.
And so that we know your HSB and your orientation.
Yeah. In fact, I can't be here right now. I'm on 2Tech. I gotta go. I'm signing out right now.
No, is there any other questions in the Facebook?
Let me see.
Yeah, let's do lightning round. I'm gonna get going. Thought I'd do a quick stream, hang out with y'all. Happy I'm doing one though. It's fun. It's good to just talk Anthony. Too. Hang out with you, Caleb. Yeah, we haven't talked in a while.
Actually, by the way, I've been we haven't talked forever. Busy. I have been kind of implementing more like tofu stuff.
Oh, you're switching to plant-based, huh?
Well, I mean, I've always kind of eaten a lot of vegetables, but now, like for this year in particular, I've made a request to Jacqueline to say, let's limit the meat. Let's just put more veggies and let's substitute.
Hey, we have
I've actually been using more shrimp as a substitute and using more tofu.
That's great,
and,
man. That's perfect.
Haven't had enough time yet to
but so far it's been going good. So
Yeah, we have a small Facebook group it's Plant Based Pals, and we just share recipes and kind of support
yeah.
each other. I'll add you to it, and you and
Yeah,
Jacqueline.
for sure.
Yeah, it's just
Cool.
because it's not like that. Everybody in there is vegan either. It's just people, or most of the people there are just plant based. They want to eat more plants and versus animal products.
Yeah. So it's been good thus
Just
far. Like, I've been
healthier
trying
lifestyle.
So I only eat meat. I mean, I never really eat that much meat to begin with, but now we're
That's good.
definitely really significant, really kind of making it less. So maybe like once a week, if we go out to eat, then we'll have some, like get some
Yeah,
Korean
sure.
barbecue. After that, it's like we're
You,
not.
you should definitely stop going Korean barbecue sometime in the future. It is like the
Well, we
epitome
don't-
of like the worst.
Well, we only did it because. So like other than that, we never go
Okay.
because there's
'Cause
no
you know-
Korean barbecue places in the Bay Area.
Because in Korea they don't eat Korean barbecue like that. It's American
Yeah, I
style,
know.
right? Like it's like pretty bad. And so
Yeah,
so I highly would encourage you to start evacuating that.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who loved Korean barbecue.
Yeah, I know. We always Korean barbecue all the time.
I would go all the damn time. And
Yeah.
so just trust me on it, man. It's really what it is that you just want to avoid as much as possible high saturated fats, fatty foods, and high cholesterol foods. And it just happens that most animal products, especially ones served at the Korean barbecue, are just high on saturated fat and cholesterol. So anyway,
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, if you guys ever want any advice on things that are easy to cook and stuff, I'd be more than happy to send you guys some
Yeah,
recipes.
luckily she had a few books and whatever. She has some
Oh,
things
cool,
online,
man.
so it's been like a lot of tofu as a substitute, a lot more like quinoa and more vegetables. So
Yeah,
it's actually
beans.
been-
Get more beans in your life. Beans are great.
yeah,
Lentils,
she
beans.
put in some beans. Yeah, she
Garbanzo
got
beans.
into lentils. Yeah, she got
Sweet.
lentils too now. So
Okay,
she's
great.
like hardcore into that. So it's kind of nice. It's very different style. So I was like, I'll try it out. 2017. How about that? And,
Cash you outside. All right.
How about-
Okay.
We got a lightning round this.
All right, lightning round.
right.
Let's do it.
Also, Megan did share her HSB, so good job.
okay.
Who? Who should it just be?
In the
Oh man, I already know.
Megan shared.
If this is the Megan I'm thinking about, she's already good.
Yeah, she was. good to
That's
go.
why
She
she's
was like-
confident. She's confident.
She was-
I'm good.
the last number was 100%.
She's gonna take over. She's like,
Pure white on the
94.
spectrum.
I'm the
94.
captain now.
All right. So it looks like we have at least like 2 or 3
Okay.
questions you can lightning round
Okay.
through. From what you guys were saying about the educational system, what about having an extreme scenario where a student had a surgery on their drawing hand? What would you advise on something like that?
Wait, what? Wait, sorry.
If someone like say I'm right-handed and then I have a surgery on my right hand, you say
Wait, you,
I guess that's pretty much the question. It's like, what would you do if because of surgery reasons, you
I'll,
couldn't draw?
I'll just tell you the story, and then you can kind of take the hint from the story. There was an artist named Francis Tsai who had a very terrible disease that basically made him paralyzed,
rest in
like his
peace.
whole body, and yeah, he passed away from that same disease. But before he passed away, he found a way to draw with his eyes. Okay, and he was doing artwork with his eyeballs, literally. There's another story. There was a guy who was born with no arms, and he was also an amazing painter. There's a person who lost his eyesight that learned how to paint by feeling the paint. Like he would put certain material and texture onto different color paints, so he knew what he was painting with blue or yellow or whatever. My point is that it could happen, but it could be worse. All right, and even if it's worse, it could be even more worse, right? Like there's these examples I mentioned of people who found ways. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about stuff like that. In fact, it wouldn't take you much. It wouldn't take you too long to switch
Switch
your hands. Yeah, that actually it takes months. It doesn't take years. It's just retraining your brain and hand and eye coordination, like training your brain to now work and talk with your other hand. That's it.
Because the knowledge is still there. Like you still know how to paint.
Yeah,
It's just now it's like an execution issue.
Yeah, it's not like you put it's not like an external hard drive in your computer or like a hard drive in your computer where you saved your Photoshop in, and then if the hard drive crashes, you're like, no, I can never use Photoshop ever again. You know, if there's a tragic thing that happens with your brain, then it will simulate what I just demonstrated. But anything like just losing a limb or something like that, as sad as it is, there's people who've adapted, and there will continuously be people who adapt. So
And that should inspire you.
yeah, and that my point is yeah, just yeah, it sucks, but don't be too depressed
Donovan.
about it. Yeah, don't be too depressed about it. There's alternatives.
All right. So somebody else said, Anthony, do you still use 3D Code in your workflow? Training?
Yeah, I use 3D Code every so often. I've actually devoted most of my time to just get back into Photoshop and try to master Photoshop, the art of painting. Just so I've just been living in here more and more, and that's just a product of just staying more focused. So yes, it's really good. It's a good software though, but I learned that maybe I should also myself stay a little bit more focused and just become more of a master of the tools I already have.
How about
Okay.
that?
How about that? Which do you prefer for a start, Maya or ZBrush?
We answered this question earlier, but the quick way of answering this is it doesn't matter. Just whatever you prefer.
Pick one. Just pick a direction.
Fred on Discord asked, what design principles do you always keep with yourself to create design art?
There's two big principles. I usually go into this deeper, like in tutorials and like in classes especially if I'm looking at someone's artwork, it's easier for me to tell them what they need to focus on. But on a broad scale, the way that I explain it is there's Darth Vader and there's Boba Fett. Darth Vader, he has a great sense of design because of who he is, and then Boba Fett has a great sense of design because of how he looks. So hopefully that gives you some good insight.
You can also go on like Wikipedia, and you can actually just Google design principles. They actually have like a list of it. I think it's like shape, space, form, texture, color.
Sure,
It's a good one.
but I think he was saying, well, which are the ones that we hold on to?
Oh, which one?
And I think out of all those principles, contrast, right? Contrast and harmony. That's probably the two good ones to hold on to.
Shapes that complement other shapes and shapes surrounded by contrasting shapes.
Yeah, pretty much. And texture, you can apply that to texture, forms,
yeah.
lighting, value, color. If you just put everything around those two ideas, contrast and unity or harmony.
Okay, and then I think this will be the last question.
All
It
right.
said, when sending in a portfolio, is it better to send it digitally or traditionally? Sending a book to a studio, for example.
The best way to do it is to do it in person, which is the most expensive and most difficult way to do it. But like, go in person and meet these people at events and conventions, whether it's digital or hard cover or whatever, or physical. And sending physical portfolios, I don't think anyone. I don't know. It depends on the situation and the context. And in sending electronically, like emailing people, you have to at least know the person sometimes for it to even be seen. You got to imagine that there's like thousands of other people submitting, especially for larger companies. Smaller ones, I think you're safe because I think people in smaller studios check all their email, right? But I remember when I was working at Blizzard, and I'm not even a recruiter, okay? I like worked there at the Semantics team. And I was gone for like 2 days. Like I think I was sick or something, right? And I came back, and I had literally had like 200 to 300 emails just sitting there. And I was like, mark all as read, and then I just moved on to my day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, look, if someone needs to get a hold of me, they'll just come to my desk at this point. Like I have no
Or they'll
idea.
send another email.
Yeah, or they'll send another email. Yeah, and I was like,
I'm the
I am
exact same
not.
with work emails. I'm just like, if they need it, they will call me. They will email me personally.
It's something to keep in mind. Like, so imagine if you're a hiring manager and you have to deal with all that, right? And so, if you meet them in person, it's just like so much more valuable. All right. Was there any last question that just got in there or no?
There was one that popped up if you want to take it.
Yeah, we'll take this one, and we'll say this is the last one. So anyone others after this is definitely a little pause.
Eric, you got lucky. All right. It says, question, what do you think about being multi-tool, 3D Coat, Rhino, etc., instead of mastering only one tool? I know it will broaden the horizons of design possibilities, but what's your thoughts about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially if you're mostly a 3D artist, it's almost imperative you have to learn multiple 3D softwares, right? I had a friend who really explained this to me really well. His name is Bo Yang, and he said, yeah, like you can use one software, but if it takes you 5 hours in that one software to get you to a certain result, versus let's say 3 hours using 5 softwares, what would you prefer? And I was like, oh, that makes sense, you know. And it's a good analogy to attach that to is like building something. Like if you're a carpenter building a table, if you're only using a saw, you're gonna have a hard time building that table, aren't you? You know. So it's just a tool, but at the end of the day, it's about what you're building, the content in which you're building. Like, what's the final product? And if you have to use multiple tools to get to that final product, then go for it. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, like for instance, in Photoshop, it feels like I'm only using one tool, right? Like I'm using Photoshop, right? But in reality, Photoshop in itself has multiple tools, mostly faceted tools, right? Like I'm using Zoom, I'm flipping my canvas, I'm using airbrush to hard airbrush to texture brushes to liquify, changing my values, using the color picker. I'm using like dozens and dozens of tools, like in Harmony, and so it's kind of the same thing. I guess it's just a little bit more more clearly you're using a tool differently than another one, and you switch software to software, right? But yeah, it's not about that. It's about just like how fast can you build the thing that you're doing. For instance, Vitaly Bogorov has like this keyboard that has like all these different buttons on it, and it like some buttons makes him switch software, and then like others like open up files. Like so he has like hotkeys to like open files up. You know what I mean? And so it's all about how.
That's my kind of guy.
Yeah, it's how efficient can you be? And for me, it's like I've changed my perspective to be a lot more simpler in my workflow, using mostly digital tools still, but staying in Photoshop and just trying to master this tool as best I can.
All right.
Sure.
All right, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kalen, for hanging out. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mike. I was just reading the chat. Thank you, Mike, for moderating for us. I appreciate you. And thank you, everybody who joined the Discord. If anyone else, oh man, there's a lot of people jumping there. If anyone else wants to join Discord, be sure to message either Kalen, John,
mostly Mike.
or Mike. Yeah, mostly Mike.
I hate you guys.
But we would also have like Denzel or Nick now. We have you can pass some Nick stuff. Nick can help out with that.
Yeah, Nick's pretty good at that. Everyone asks Nick.
Yeah. And
asks Nick.
and if you have a friend that you want to add to the Discord, just
You can hit us up too.
just hit us up in the Discord, and we'll try to do our best. We'll send you a link that you can send them. And so I'm gonna try to do every week, like once or twice a week, open up the Discord to the public so we can get more people in here to help out and give each other feedback and keep this place pretty active. It's pretty active now. It's not that it wasn't. You guys have been doing a great job at staying relatively active, but we can do a better job of making it even more active. So, all right, cool. I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Laters.
All right.